Sir, I can start, right? Chaku, sir. Hello. Sir, any delay?
No, we can start. I was just waiting for 9:30.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, then we'll start at 9:30. Fine.
Good morning, Chaco. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning.
Second, video off. Just laptop.
Correct.
Chaco, can we start now? Chaco?
Yeah, we will start.
Alina, you may start now. Alina.
Good morning, all. Welcome to the National Seminar Online organized by Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, Kerala, in collaboration with IQAC, Sacred College, Chalakudi. I request all the participants to mute their mics during the webinar. You can unmute your mic and ask your questions after the talks. Participants must fill the feedback form to get an e-certificate, which will be provided at the end of the session. Economics is everywhere, and understanding economics can help you make better decisions and lead a happier life. All of you, welcome to the National Seminar Annual Lecture Series organized by Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, in honor of Dr. Sister Ritti Paul. She is the founder head of the Department of Economics of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. She took the initiative to introduce mathematical economics as a complementary course for the BA Economics program, which was not common in 1993 in Kerala. She laid the foundation of the innovative and practical oriented pedagogy, followed by the Department of Economics. The department offered add-on courses as early as 1994. Sister Ritti retired as principal of the college in 2002. The Department of Economics has been organizing the annual lecture series in honor of Reverend Sister Ritti Paul since 2003. Now, I invite Dr. Shirley Juske, HOD of Economics Department and IQAC Coordinator of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Alina.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to the National Seminar on the Emerging Urban Economy and Market Structures, organized as part of the annual lecture series, which has been hosted every year in honor of our retired principal and head of the Economics Department, Reverend Sister Ritti Paul. All of us are aware that historically, population shifts from rural to urban areas, which have helped in increasing productivity, consumption, and higher standards of living. Younger, fast-growing population is leaving rural areas and moving to expanding cities in search of better paying jobs and high standard of living. According to the McKinsey Global Institute of Research, mega cities and other cities should account for approximately 60% of GDP growth over the next decade. Urban consumers are expected to be the leading component of global consumption growth from the next decade and more, adding about $20 trillion per annum to global goods spending. Desire for a better quality of life, better infrastructure, increasing demand for all types and levels of goods and services will be the drivers in this global scenario. It is in this context the Department of Economics chose this topic, which is relevant in the COVID scenario also, where there has been a large-scale shift in the patterns of consumer spending and the shift to massive online modes of shopping and delivery of goods and services, especially in urban areas. To inaugurate today's seminar and deliver the inaugural speech, we are indeed blessed to have a very eminent resource person who is not a stranger to our department. He is none other than Dr. T. Rathnaraj, who is currently a senior fellow, ICSSR, at the Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, Thiruvananthapuram. Dr. Rathnaraj was formerly Professor and Head, Department of Economics, University of Calicut. On behalf of the Department of Economics of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, and on behalf of all present in this meeting, I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Rathnaraj.
Thank you.
To deliver the keynote address today, we have Dr. Jaikishan Prashar, Associate Professor in the Department of Economics, Zakir Hussain College, New Delhi. Dr. Jaikishan Prashar is also not a stranger to us, since he was a resource person in the International Conference on Economics of Welfare and Happiness, organized jointly by the Departments of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, and the Department of Economics, St. Joseph's College, Autonomous, Irnyalakuda, on 16th June 2021. Since the detailed introduction of our guests will be made later on by Dr. Chako Jose, I take this opportunity to wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Jaikishan Prashar to this national seminar. I take immense pleasure to invite our former Head of the Department, Dr. Jaco Jos, my dear colleague and friend, who will be introducing the chief guest in today's and the keynote speaker in today's seminar. Today's seminar and all other conferences, workshops, and quality enhancement programs organized by the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, in the last 26 years is the outcome of the sincere and untiring efforts taken by Dr. Jaco Jos to make our department become a trailblazer and also offer a quality and interesting education in economics to our students. I would like to use this platform to share with all of you that Dr. Jaco Jos will no longer be steering the Department of Economics. We are happy for him because he has been elevated to the status of principal of St. Aloysius College, Elthurut, Thrissur. He has already taken charge from July 16th. But sadly, for us in the Department of Economics, we shall miss Jaco sir very badly. Along with wishing you the very best in your future responsibilities, I welcome Dr. Jaco Jos to this national seminar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Nigel Jacobi, my only colleague presently in the Department of Economics and webinar coordinator, will be proposing the vote of thanks today. I will be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge the fact that all the necessary technical and other support have been provided by Mr. Nigel Jacobi unstintingly after he joined our department. On behalf of everyone present here, I welcome Mr. Nigel Jacobi to this national seminar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also welcome all the participants from the different colleges and institutions, both within Kerala as well as from other parts of India, to this seminar. Last but not the least, I welcome my dear students to this seminar. In fact, in the new restructured BA Economics UG curriculum of Calicut University, we are planning to choose the elective paper Urban Economics in the 6th semester. And I am sure that attending today's seminar will be of great use to you in studying that particular paper. So on behalf of everyone present here, I once again welcome all the guests of the seminar and everybody present here, the attendees, the students, etc. Wishing you a very fruitful day and thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. We also welcome you to this national seminar. Now, to introduce the chief guest, Dr. D. Ratnaraj, I invite Dr. Jaco Jos, former HOD of Department of Economics and the current principal of St. Aloysius College, Elthurut. Sir, please welcome.
Thank you, Alina. Head of the Department of Economics of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, Dr. Shirley. The chief guest of this day, Dr. Ratnaraj, the keynote speaker of this session, Dr. Jayakishan Prasad, Mr. Nigel Jacobi, the participants of this webinar from different parts of India, and my dear students. Though I have been part of many seminars and conferences organized by the Department of Economics of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi in the past 26, 27 years, this one is very special to me and a little bit emotional as well, because this is going to be the last event in which I'll be playing the role of a coordinator of the conference. This was planned 3 weeks back when I was still working in the Department of Economics of Sacred Heart College. So I will not be able to associate with the programs of the Department of Economics as I did in the past. Of course, I'll be there always whenever you need a support, but my role has certainly changed. So I'm really happy to see that the seminar is going as per planned because of the efforts of the newly newly assumed, Dr. Shirley Jose, who newly assumed office as the head of the Department of Economics. So I use this opportunity to wish all the very best to Dr. Shirley for steering the department ahead in days to come. Especially, she is the IQAC coordinator of our college. So certainly, the duties of the head of the department and also of the IQAC coordinator will be a little tough to take forward together, but I'm sure she can do that. And Mr. Nigel Jacobi is there to give all the technical support. So let me come to my duty of welcoming Dr. Ratnaraj. Dr. Ratnaraj is, I don't know how I should address him because he is my dearest professor who has always stood with me in my MA student to my present position when I am the principal of St. Aloysius College. He has played a very crucial role in all my stages of moving forward. So I have great pleasure in getting the honor of introducing Dr. Ratnaraj. As you know, presently, Dr. Ratnaraj is a senior ICSSR fellow at Dr. Gulati Institute, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. He was, I'm sure many of you know that, he was professor and head and also director of the Department of Economics of University of Calicut, which is better known as Dr. John Mathai Center. He has, he's a very demanded research guide and resource person. He has 12 PhDs awarded under his supervision, and he has published 25 research papers in various national and international journals. He has also worked as a visiting professor at the famous Center for Development Studies, Trivandrum, which comes under the University, Jawaharlal Nehru University. And he has also worked as, presently, he is also a visiting professor at the Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Development Studies. Dr. Ratnaraj brings with him a very long years of experience as a teacher who has motivated many students, and more importantly, he has always pioneered ideas in coming up with the novel ideas. For example, today he will be talking about new urbanization, which is a topic in which many of us have not worked. So it's an innovative topic, and I have always seen him. I have always observed him very keenly, venturing into areas where many other people have not worked. So I have great pleasure in welcoming and introducing Dr. D. Ratnaraj to this function. I cannot care about his friends, care about his colleagues, and always try to support them. And he's somebody who always finds happiness in seeing his friends, colleagues, and students achieving heights. So it's very rare to see such human beings nowadays. So I'm extremely happy to say that he was my mentor right from my MA days. So I have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Ratnaraj. So without taking start his presentation. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chakru sir. Now, for the inaugural address, I invite Dr. D. Ratnaraj, Senior Fellow ICSSR, Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, Trivandrum. He was also the former professor and head of the Department of Economics, University of Calicut. So, please welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning to all of you. Okay.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chakra. The Honorable Principal, the head of the department, Dr. Shirley Jose, Webinar Secretary, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. My dearest friend, Dr. Chaco Jose, Webinar Convener, Sacred Heart College. Dr. J. Kishan Pishar, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Zahir Hussain College, New Delhi. Dear friends, well-wishers, research scholars who are joining us online, I am deeply grateful for your presence today. I thank the organizers who invited me for this seminar. Okay? Hello?
Sir, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. I hope this seminar provides an opportunity for meaningful reflections. Okay, everything? Hello?
Yes, sir. Somebody by accident switched on mic. We have muted that person. I once again request all the participants to mute their mic. Thank you.
I have chosen today's talk, the topic, Emerging Urban Economy of Kerala. The selection of this area, I call this Urbanomics, Kerala's urban economics, dates back to the early 90s, just after completed my PhD in 1993. After having done a spade work, I strongly believe the future of Kerala did not lie in villages, but in the development of urban. I had come across different visions on India's future. Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru differed views, particularly vision. The future of India lies in its villages, said by Mahatma Gandhi. Nehru was not in agreement with his vision. According to Prime Minister Nehru, future of Kerala, independent India relied heavily on industrialization and building on material prosperity. So, emerging urban economy of Kerala. My idea originated actually from the debate, village versus city for India's future. Actually, in the year 1993, after completed my PhD, I was to choose an area for my future research. I was actually left 24 years. So it was really a 24 years plan for my future research. Resultantly, I got this topic. So I wanted to be associated with two important things. One is the regional economy, and another one is specialization. For researchers, particularly for advanced research or postdoctoral research, regional economy is very important. From my personal experience, I learned one lesson. Successful researchers from India have made their major contributions to their regional economy. For example, consider the 4 big research institutes coming under Indian Council of Social Science Research, ICSSR. Center for Development Studies, Trivandrum, Kerala. MIDS, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. ISAC, Bangalore, Karnataka. Sardar Patil Institute, Ahmedabad. For instance, to take the case of Center for Development Studies, Dr. K.N. Raj, Dr. T.N. Krishnan, Gulati, and K.K. Subramanian, and all were very much particular about the research of the regional economy, particularly the working purpose published from Center for Development Studies. More than 400 working papers have come out, and majority of the working papers were on the regional economy, particularly to assist the government of Kerala through their research contributions. Take the case of MIDS that was actually founded by Dr. Adi Sesaya. Later, the chairman of that institution was C.T. Kurian, and most of their research contributions were only on the regional economy of Tamil Nadu. ISEC, the Institute for Social and Economic Change, which was established in 1972 by Professor V.K.R.V. Rao. And most of the eminent economists, their works concentrated only on their regional economy of Karnataka, and they came out with results which were very useful for running the economy of Karnataka by the state government. The Sardar Patil Institute of Economic and Social Research, which was established in 1969, Lakdawala as its founder director, Dr. S.P. Gupta, Dr. G.S. Popola, and others were there. Even Dr. K.K. Subramanian, who was associated with the Center for Development Studies later, was the director of this institute. So my second motto here is the specialization. Jack of all trades, master of none. I realized actually the importance of specialization after my PhD in 1993. So the objective of a PhD degree is to become a competent researcher who can conduct independent research in his or her chosen area. PhD actually is a license obtained for independent research work. I would like to say a few things about my personal experience here. So after completed my PhD, left exactly 24 hours in 1993 for my retirement. I was to plan for a future academic career. As a result, I had chosen this particular topic, keeping away from the main area of financial economics, because my research was on financial economics, finances of small-scale industries in Kanyakumari district, Tamil Nadu. So I switched over from financial economics to urban economics, mainly because of its importance in the economy of Kerala. Why I have selected this urbanization in Kerala as area of my research? I would like to say the specific reason for this. I was on the verge of identifying a new research area for my postdoctoral research, considering the regional economy of Kerala. My approach was very objective. I had chosen to read a number of books during that time. One of the important works came to my mind is none other than the work of T.T. Srikumar, Urban Process in Kerala. It was a serious publication exactly in the year 1993. At the same time, Dr. T.T. Srikumar, who is actually was doing pioneering work on this area, had come out with a discussion which actually appeared in Economic and Political Weekly during that time. The title was Neither Rural Nor Urban, Kerala's Experience. I was really confused with the ideology of T.T. Srikumar. On the one side, he was encouraging urbanizing Kerala. At the same time, he was actually on confusion about the Kerala's urbanization that I found from his study, neither urban nor rural. As a researcher, I wanted to examine the authenticity of this particular area So I read many things. At the same time, I could come across very important article which appeared in Urban India, the Journal of Urban Affairs, published from New Delhi. One Professor Vinod Tiwari, he projected Kerala as the #1 state, in the #1 urbanized state in India by 2031. So contradiction between the opposite two research work actually made me to finalize my area of research work. So in order to get rid of this contradiction, I consulted the government reports, statistical reports, and other research papers. Hence, I decided that I should examine, I should do some research, detailed research in this area. So I strongly believe the future of Kerala did not lie in the villages, but in the development of urbanization. This is only as an introduction I would like to say. So my paper here is actually divided into 3 sections. The first section concentrates on the pattern or the special features of urbanization in Kerala. So here, I have come across 3 important special features of Kerala's urbanization. The one is urban sex ratio. I have taken data from the census and also the handbooks of urbanization, considered data from 1901 up to 2011, the census years. The urban sex ratio, the higher urban sex ratio, that is really the special feature, higher urban sex ratio. The sex ratio is the ratio of males to females, or we can say the number of females per 1,000 males. Kerala state ranks first in sex ratio in India. The sex ratio 1084. Kerala's urban sex ratio is 1091. Urban sex ratio has been higher than the all India census years if you examine from 1901 to 2011. The low sex ratio in urban India is assumed to be a consequence of the excess female mortality. Particular research study, when I went through, I could observe this inference. Kerala has got the highest life expectancy at birth. Male is 72.5 years, female 77.8 years. The main reason for favorable sex ratio in urban Kerala must be higher longevity due to better health. The main reason, actually the main reason. It is observed that outmigration of males was a contributory factor for higher sex ratio in urban Kerala. According to Kerala Migration Survey 2018, the Center for Development Studies have come out with Kerala Migration Survey. They have completed 8 rounds of Kerala Migration Survey. The latest one is 2018. So according to the Kerala Migration Survey 2018 data, 2.12 million immigrants from Kerala across the world. The estimated total remittance to Kerala are rupees 85,000. From 1998 to 2018, CDS has conducted, as I told you, 8 migration surveys. So recently, the India Migration Report 2020 has been published, Kerala Model of Migration Surveys, edited by Dr. Irde Rajan. The second feature of Kerala's urbanization is a higher town density. Kerala has the highest town density among the southern Indian states. Town density represents the number of towns per 1,000 square kilometer. It is observed that the town density is relatively very high in Kerala compared to the southern states of India. Kerala has got an extremely high density, reaching a density of more than 2. That is how the town density, more than 2 in all the census years from 1961. So if you observe from 1961 up to 2011, we could find this result. So I compared here Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, and overall I compared to the all India figure. The third important feature of Kerala's urbanization is nothing but the process of urbanization reveals a longer proportion of population getting concentrated in class 1 cities, because the cities are classified into 6 classes: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, class 6, on the basis of population. So in the class 1 city, one lakh and above population. The size of class 1 city, the population size 1 lakh and above. And the second one, the second class, 50,000 to 1 lakh. And the third one, 20,000 to 50,000. And the fourth one, 10,000 to 20,000. And the fifth one, 5,000 to about 10,000. And fifth one, below 5,000. This is actually the size class towns. But when we come to Kerala, the majority of the urban population in Kerala is concentrated in class 1 cities, that is population of above 1 lakh. The higher order town of Kerala are seen to be growing and amalgamating surrounding areas, showing the spreading nature in urbanization. This is actually the outgrowth of urbanization that is witnessed recently after 2001. So if you consider 2001 to 2000, from 2001 to 2011, the emergence of census towns, particularly the outgrowth of cities. The second, actually, I wanted to concentrate on the trends in urban population in Kerala. Do you follow? Hello? Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The first one, I have focused my attention on the special features. So I have analyzed 3 important special features. So here I would like to concentrate on the trends. The trends in urban population in Kerala. Using census data, we are presenting here the degree of urbanization in Kerala. So here I have used the yardstick, the proportion of population living in urban to the total population, which is called the degree of urbanization. So with the degree of urbanization, so I could find the year from 1901 up to 2011, I have taken, and the degree of urbanization is also calculated for the census years. So the observation here, there was a slow growth of degree of urbanization in Kerala between 1901 and 1941, from 7.11 to 10.84 is a percentage population. The position picked up in 1951. In the year 1951, the position here 13.48%. There was an unprecedented growth witnessed from 1981 to 91, from 18.74% in 1981 to 26.44% in 1991. Then we find registered a massive increase from 2001. The degree of urbanization, we find a massive increase during this period, that is 25.96% in 2001 to 47.72% in 2011. Major contribution of this increase actually was due to increase in the number of census towns. So what actually is a census town? Census towns here is characterized by population of 5,000. At least 75% of the male working population is employed outside the agriculture sector. The density of population 400 persons per square kilometer. The emergence of census towns in Kerala as a result of urban implosion or urbanization by implosion. It is an idea actually derived from Ghadir Mohammed, Urbanization by Implosion, his article, which was published in Habitat International, volume 28, March 2004, page 1 to 12. It refers to in-place population growth in rural areas, which leads to expansion of villages, municipalities, homesteads, and sprouting of homes amidst field of barrens. So this leads to some challenges, because this is actually sudden growth. We could find the urban growth in the 20s. So this actually, the implosion or urbanization by implosion leads to some challenges to the Kerala's economy. One is the spatial planning, waste management, traffic and transport management, use of centrally sponsored schemes. These are actually the challenges. So in this context, so I would like to raise a question. Should we encourage urbanization in Kerala? So I am not going into the details of the features and other consequences. So here I would like to raise a question. Should we encourage urbanization in Kerala? A discussion. The structural performances versus social development. So here my discussion is centering on the controversy, sectoral performance versus social development. So Kerala is known for social development. It is actually a model for other Indian states on the basis of social development indicators. So in this context, so whether we want growth or whether we want the social development, this is actually the discussion. The Kerala witnessed immature urban growth. So when I examine Kerala's urbanization in terms of degree of urbanization, so I could find during the 80s, Kerala witnessed immature urban growth. So the immature urban growth, I have borrowed the idea from Gunnar Myrdal in his magnum opus book, Asian Drama, an inquiry into the poverty of nations, which was published in 1968, which observes, I quote this, not only has South Asian experience in the recent decades a rapid urban growth without industrialization, but this growth has been accompanied by relative stagnation of agriculture production. So this is immature urbanization. Immature urbanization in the sense, with urbanization, there is urban growth, at the same time, no industrialization, backward agriculture sector or stagnation, agriculture stagnation. So the third world countries actually face over urbanization, a level of urbanization higher than that which can normally be attained given the level of industrialization. So over urbanization in the sense, there is urbanization, there is urban growth, at the same time, no industrial development or industrialization. So this is specifically the over urbanization. But the immature urbanization has not been touched upon by any of the discussions or the researches. So I have taken and I would like to interpret the Kerala situation with the help of the terminology, what is called immature urban growth or immature urbanization. Now let us examine Kerala's situation, which was more or less similar to that of immature urbanization. For instance, during the period of rapid urban growth, so when we examine the degree of urbanization from 1901 up to 2011, the two important periods definitely attracted my attention. One is the sudden growth from 81 to 91, and the substantial growth took place in the urban development, that is 2001 and 2011. So the first one is immature urbanization. So here the degree of urbanization in Kerala was 18.78% in 1981 and increased to 26.44% in 1991. At the same time, the sectoral performance. So I wanted to compare the urbanization and the sectoral performance. The share of agriculture and allied activities and manufacturing to the gross state domestic product during this period. The share of agriculture sector declined from 33% in 1981 to 21% in 1991. That is the share to the state domestic product, the agriculture sector. The share of manufacturing sector, which comes under the secondary sector, declined from 14% in 1981 to 12% in 1991. During the period of massive urbanization in Kerala, the period of 2001 and 2011. The degree of urbanization here, 2001, 25.96%, 2011, 47.72%. Agriculture sector and the share of SDP declined during this period also. So agriculture sector and agriculture and allied activities, the share of SDP declined from 17.49% in 2001 to 7.8% in 2011. The manufacturing sector, that the share declined from 9.77% in 2001 to 7.95 in 2011. At the same time, the level of development in Kerala is found to be highly positively correlated to the level of urbanization, because that is very important. So whether we want a social development, particularly take the case of Kerala, Kerala people are very happy because there is Kerala model for them. And the health sector, as well as the education, Kerala is far better than the southern states, even far ahead of that Indian condition, India. So here find the sanitation problem is there, unemployment is there, increasing violence. So during the urbanization, the violence, particularly in the mega cities, because there is no mega city from Kerala. At the same time, so when I examined the not only the population alone, but other infrastructure facilities. So if you take three important cities such as Thiruvananthapuram, Cochin and Calicut are emerging mega cities, and you could find all the characteristics of mega cities found in these three class 1 cities, because this is included under the class 1 cities. There is no mega city in the census. So the composite index of development increase. So I have taken the composite index, taking a few variables, comparing Kerala's development with that of Kerala's urbanization. So the variables considered here, the composite index, literates, total workers, male workers, agriculture labors, population density, drinking water facility, electricity, toilet facility, drainage facility, banking services. So, and all these are taken as independent variables. So the composite index, the dependent variable here, the percent of urban population. So there is a positive correlation. So I could find that is in the year 2001, 0.89 to 0.96 in 2011. So on the basis of the composite index. So here the infant mortality is the lowest. This is a plus point here as far as Kerala from the social development point of view. Infant mortality is the lowest in Kerala. That is 7 by 1,000. The 7 infant mortality is 7 compared to other Indian states. Still lower in urban. So urban it is only 5 out of 1,000 because it is calculated in thousands. The reason here, the mother's literacy status, which is very high in Kerala. Now, hello. Anything to say? Hello? May I proceed? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. So medical facilities in terms of availability of hospitals, dispensaries, number of beds are far better in urban centers than in rural Kerala. So conclusion I have given as far as this section, from this discussion, it is obvious that despite Kerala's industrial backwardness and agriculture stagnation during the period of urban growth, people from urban have maintained good health status and the social development. Hence, Kerala's urban development can be a model for less developed countries. However, we cannot ignore some negative impacts on the economy as a result of urban growth in Kerala, urban poverty, which is on the increase in Kerala, hike in price of shelter and land prices are also increasing like anything, and the emergence of urban slums. So these are the negative impacts. So I hope I come across. So this is the two sections I wanted to analyze. This is somewhat technical, useful for the researchers. The causes of urbanization in Kerala. This I would like to present before you, just like a textbook approach. So having reviewed the existing literature on this area, it is observed that no systematic study has been conducted to explore the causes of urbanization in Kerala. Here I am presenting the causes of urbanization, which is classified into three sections: the natural growth, migration, and boundary changes. That is, the urban growth is mainly due to three components. The natural growth. Natural growth represents the rate of growth of population, which reflects the difference in the rates of change in birth and death rates. It is significant to note that Kerala is entering the third stage of demographic transition, that is low birth rate, low death rate, and infant mortality rate also, low infant mortality rate. There is a substantial decline in the urban birth rates in Kerala. For instance, urban birth rate in Kerala declined over the years from 29.2 per thousand during 1971-73 to 19.5% or 19.5 per thousand during 1989-91. So I have considered here 3-year moving average. So up to 1991. So 2001, the birth rate 16.6 per thousand. The census year 2011, the birth rate 14.4 per thousand. Likewise, the death rates in Kerala are declining over the years. Urban death rate in Kerala declined over the years from 7.3 per thousand during 1971-73, 3-year moving averages considered, to 5.8 per thousand during 1989-91, 3 years moving averages that are taken here. 2001, the census year 2001, the death rate was 6.1 per thousand. 2011, the death rate was 5.7 per thousand. The crude death and birth rates are both measured by the rate of births or deaths respectively among the population of 1,000 here. So the general observation I would like to place before you: the states which have achieved comparatively low levels of birth rate have also achieved parity in rural and urban birth rates. Hope you get this point. The states which have achieved comparatively low levels of birth rates have also achieved the parity in rural and urban birth rates. Also, the death rates in Kerala are declining, and there is a parity of death rates of urban and rural areas in Kerala. So these are the two observations which are very important. So there is no much difference as far as the birth and death rates of Kerala both in urban and rural areas. That is really the point. Even though birth and death rates are on the decline in Kerala, the difference between the two rates is wider, leading to high population growth in urban Kerala. Even though we consider the natural growth, which gives the low birth and low death rate, which is actually the third stage of demographic transition, we find it is because of the wider difference between these two. So there is a possibility that there is high population growth in urban Kerala. The second the aspect I would like to tell you or discuss with you is migration. Migration is considered to be an important factor contributing to the process of urbanization. It is estimated that 19% of urban population in Kerala are migrants. As far as Indian condition, more than 40%. So they are mainly internal migrants, that is rural to, so the migration here, so I have taken only the internal migration, that is migrating families or migrating people from rural to urban. Theoretically, pull factors and push factors are the causes of migration. The former represents, there is a pull factor, represents rural population migrating to urban areas in response to demand for labor. The latter, that is the push factor, in rural population getting pushed out of villages because of bad economic conditions. So both pull and push factors are responsible for internal migration in Kerala. In spite of Kerala's weak industrial sector, the tertiary sector activities like trade and commerce, transport and communication, services, and public administration have largely absorbed rural migrants. Construction activity is also providing a large employment opportunities. Now let us examine the reasons for migration. So here, so I have given three classifications: the economic factor, the social factor, and discretional factor. The economic factor. The economic factor is related to the employment aspect. Among the migrants in Kerala, 32% are influenced by economic factor. It comes the second rank among the reasons given. Whereas at the all India level, the largest number of people migrated under the influence of economic factors. From my investigation, I have found that migration due to social factors ranks first among the reasons of internal migration in Kerala. The other reasons, the wealthy rural-based people and the Gulf returnees who are interested in urban life in anticipation of better urban health facilities, good education for their children, and luxurious and civilized way of life. They're also being moved or attracted towards urban. The third one is the boundary changes. It's a jurisdictional change in the form of emergence of new towns is an important cause for the increase in urban population. The change in urban area jurisdiction can be done in two ways here: through government's declaration and the emergence of urban agglomeration. So here, the change in urban area jurisdiction. So along with the two other causes, this is also very important, the boundary changes. So through government declaration, government decision to declare a particular place an urban center, that is government's declaration. The second one, the emergence of urban agglomeration. And urban agglomeration represents a continuous urban spread consisting of a town and its adjoining urban outgrowths, or two or more physically continuous towns together with continuous, well-organized urban outgrowths, if any of such towns. For instance, around a core city or a statutory town, sizable and well-established urban appendages might have come up, like railway colonies, a university campus, ports, and other things, which are part of continuous urban spread. So urban agglomeration is also very important. Just a minute, please. Just a minute, I'm coming. Just a minute. So I'm joining.
Sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Just joining within 5 minutes. Okay. Joining within 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
5 minutes, please.
Okay.
Okay. I request all the participants to kindly bear with us. Our there's a technical issue with our resource person. He will be joining soon. If you have any queries, you can type in the chat box. Those who are watching through YouTube, they can also type in the chat box of YouTube.
Okay, we will provide the feedback form after the event, only after the event. So please be patient. We will share it here in this chat box and also in this YouTube live streaming chat box. Thank you.
sorry بكواسي ياش
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. D. Ratnaraj's daughter. So he'll join in 1 minute. Okay. The network issue has been solved. He is joining in 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Second one, there are two factors. Productive factors are labor and capital, and third one, the capital are employed in fixed production. Next one, there is technical progress, means there is some change in technical progress. A fifth one, two factors.
Extremely sorry.
Kindly and okay.
Okay. Yeah, let me continue that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So in the talk on the emergence of urbanization of Kerala.
Sir, I think you are muted, sir.
Yeah. No. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yes, okay, now. Chaco, let me continue now. Chaco?
Yes, sir, you can continue. We can hear you.
Okay. The last section, I would like to discuss with you the consequences of urbanization. That is a very important aspect in the urbanization process of Kerala. So when I went through the process of urbanization of T.T. Srikumar, that is really the pioneering work, he discussed in detail about the historical version of urbanization in Kerala, particularly up to 1981. After that, there has been no systematic study conducted. Then when I went to Center for Development Studies in the year 1993, I started the discussion or the continuing this discussion, T.T. Srikumar's discussion, and actually examine number of Kerala's issues. At the same time, some of the researchers who did research work on this area are very much concerned with the consequences of urbanization in Kerala. The urban poverty, particularly Dr. Alvin Prakash, in the year 1992-93, I think, he took the Cochin city and he examined the urban poverty in Kerala. So our urban poverty is on the increase when you compare the rural poverty. So even though there has been a decline in the incidence of poverty in 1980s, in all the states of India, both urban and rural areas, urban poverty in Kerala is higher than the rural poverty. It is actually the observation of the Planning Commission 1993. And also the Dr. Alvin Prakash's study, the result when I went through, and he's also pointing out the emergence of urbanization and also the emergence of urban poverty. This is one of the negative impacts of urbanization, we can say, as a consequence of urbanization in Kerala. The second is urban unemployment. Particularly, Kerala's unemployment is very notorious in the sense mostly the magnitude is on the increase. More than 40 lakhs people are unemployed. And people are stranded actually in big cities for want of visas and all, and leading to a lot of social problems. So when I was actually examined the Kerala's model, so using the non-conventional indicators, I could say the three important areas, three important areas are very important. One is the suicides in Kerala on the increase, particularly the urban suicides are on the increase than the rural suicides. The agricultural laborers, they are committing suicides. So at the same time, when I went through the data, I was actually flabbergasted and stunned to see the youngsters are committing suicide in Kerala, particularly in the cities and the towns. The urban unemployment, this is mainly the reason here is pointed out, urban unemployment. So if you go through the urban unemployment, you find the youngsters as well as the farmers, they are committing suicide. And most of the villages, now it is outgrowth, comes to the town. The town density, most of the villages, formerly villages, now it is census towns. It comes particularly in the jurisdiction of towns. The urban slums. So when I went through the rate of that unemployment as well as in the urban slums, the urban slum is on the increase in Kerala. It is really surprising. Mostly only megacities, Chennai, Calcutta, Bombay, and other places. So you find the urban slums along with the urban slums, along with the unemployment, and along with the less sanitary facilities and all. And actually, this is the outcome of the industrialization. But Kerala, there is no industrial development. At the same time, there is urban slums. So this is really the point that we noted in this context. And the crimes under IPC, definitely the total crimes under IPC in major cities and towns in Kerala on the increase. So I have taken the data from 1981 to 2001. The cities and towns having population more than 1 lakh and above have been considered here. So when we go through the cities, particularly the Trivandrum city, Alapi town, Ernakulam city, and Calicut city, so the crimes are on the increase in Kerala. This is also one of the negative impacts of Kerala's economy. So these are some of the negative aspects, or we can say the consequences of urbanization in Kerala. So we have to judge whether we should encourage urbanization, barring all these negative impacts. And when we come to the research, definitely you find some research questions. So I would like to pose before you a few research questions. Are you listening? Hello, audience? Can I proceed? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So I would like to place before you a few research questions. The first one, despite industrial stagnation and thereby lack of pull factors in the census towns, why there is heavy concentration of population in urban Kerala? This is really the first question, even for a discussion. The second one, what are the factors that cause hike in proportion elderly in urban Kerala? Because there are two things, proportion urban and proportion elderly. And they are actually on the increase. In the proportion that urban increases, the proportion elderly are also on the increase. So that is the second question. The third question I would like to bring to your kind attention is that how is Kerala maintaining better urban health in spite of its devastating effects in terms of urban slums and urban poverty? So this is very crucial question here. How is Kerala maintaining better urban health in spite of its devastating effects in terms of urban slums and urban poverty? The third question I would like to bring to your attention, should we encourage immature urbanization in Kerala? So while discussing the process of urbanization, or when we discuss the pattern of urbanization, so I was actually pointing out the immature urbanization in the place of over-urbanization actually witnessed in the third world countries. Actually, I mentioned the definition of immature urbanization and also how this particular proposition is applicable in the context of Kerala's urbanization, particularly in the period 80s. So should we encourage immature urban growth? Sectoral performance on the one side, and on the other side, degree of urbanization. When degree of urbanization is on the increase or the urbanization on the increase, so you find the immature urbanization are also on the increase in Kerala. This is the peculiar feature of the Kerala's economy, I pointed out. Then the third one, if we encourage the existing tertiary sector based urban growth, what will be the future of Kerala in terms of materially productive sectors of the economy? So this is also very important question from the point of view of researchers. If you are encouraging the urbanization, in the sense it is the tertiary sector based urban growth. Kerala's urban growth is otherwise the tertiary sector urban growth. So in this context, the question is very important. If we encourage the existing tertiary sector based urban growth, what will be the future of Kerala in terms of the materially productive sectors of the economy? So these are a few questions which that have come out from the discussion of urbanization, particularly in my research. So here, so I would like. Hello, hello. Let me continue. Hello. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So here, for the benefit of the researchers, because most of the people who are interested, the budding researchers who are interested to enter into this research area, I would like to give you a few tips in terms of a few hypotheses. So the first hypothesis I would like to tell you, greater the magnitude of urbanization that the Kerala economy faces, lesser will be the devastating effects of mankind. Here, in terms of death rate, infant mortality rate, sanitation, hospital facilities. You got the point? Greater the magnitude of urbanization that the Kerala economy faces, lesser will be the devastating effects of mankind. This is one hypothesis. The second hypothesis, so I would like to present to you, the problem of mega cities are also found in the census cities, because we have been examining the Kerala's urban growth or the process of urbanization, and also we consulted many research reports of the government and individual researchers. So we could find there is no mega city in Kerala, but we have to define the mega city in Kerala, because the characteristics of some of the class 1 cities are similar to mega cities of India. That's why the problem of mega cities are also found in the census towns. The third hypothesis or proposition I have given, the proportion of urban and the proportion of elderly, that's the rate, the pace of population and the size of elderly population are positively correlated in Kerala. So we have to examine this proposition, the proportion urban, the proportion elderly are positively correlated in Kerala, and we have to examine this. And the third one, higher the tertiary sector based urbanization, bypassing the secondary sector in Kerala, more will be the magnitude of urban employment problem. Because when we are saying urban growth or urbanization in Kerala, it is nothing but the tertiary sector based urban growth. Tertiary sector based urbanization, we can say. Higher the tertiary sector based urbanization, bypassing the secondary sector. Is it good for Kerala? The same question is given in the form of hypothesis. The other hypothesis is the growth of census towns and the land prices in Kerala, land prices in urban peripheries are closely related in Kerala. Let me read once more. Growth of census towns and land prices in urban peripheries are closely related in Kerala. So these are some of the hypotheses I have given. And for the researchers, I would like to give you some source of data for your investigation or research. The secondary information are available from 1961 to 2011 from economic census. That's the main source. And the CSO, Development of Statistics, Ministry of Planning and Program. So we have economic reviews and statistics for planning published by the state government. That they are also supplying informations based upon the census data, because the refined version of census data. So we get from these sources. So I think that the study will be providing data source for the magnitude of problems associated with the growth of census towns in Kerala. The recent project I have taken, the emergence of mega cities and census towns in Kerala. So that is the recent project I have taken. And the presentation is over. And if you would like to raise questions on the basis of presentations, you are welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. The stage is now open for Q&A session. The participants may kindly unmute your mic and ask your questions, or type your questions in the chat box.
If there are any questions, either participants can unmute their mic and speak, or you can text your your doubts or your queries in the chat box. We will read it out.
Hello, sir. May I ask one thing? Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, what are the possibilities of urban agriculture?
So here, there is less possibility for urban agriculture in Kerala, because most of the villages now we are converting into towns. So I told you the causes of urbanization. Definitely, most of the villages are now converted into urban. The government is declaring from time to time urban, and mostly these areas are converted into construction activities. Mostly they are constructing houses, and land is converted into that is shelter. That is widely seen in Kerala. There is less possibility.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, sir, is it audible, sir?
Okay.
Yeah. Professor, I am Kottaivaran from Annamalai University, Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu.
Oh, thank you. You are welcome.
Yeah. You said that most of the villages are converted into urban area.
Yeah.
And what way you are telling, bro, sir? What statistics you have?
What? Yeah.
What statistics you have? What do you mean urban area, bro, sir?
Yeah.
How they are converting into urban area?
No,
Madam earlier asked what are the possibilities of urban agriculture, but you said that most of the villages are converted into urban area. How you say? How you tell about this? If they are converted into urban area, is it possible?
Yes. The thing is that cultivation is going on, but government is encouraging, but people are not prepared. The farmers are not prepared. So they would like to shift to the from villages to the urban areas. It is neglected. The agriculture sector is completely neglected in Kerala. It is actually the backward Indian agriculture, just like industrial backwardness. There is backwardness that come across in the agriculture sector also. Even the contribution from the agricultural allied activities to state domestic product is declining. So that is the statistics we can give. What actually is the contribution made by the sectors, particularly the agriculture sector, that declined in the sense we are neglecting. Not even neglecting, but government is encouraging. At the same time, the share is less.
Yes, sir. Your point is correct. But
yeah,
that urban areas are converted into residential areas, sir. They are that real estate promoters are cutting the agriculture, sir.
Yes, definitely.
Cutting the agriculture. That overall, as per agricultural data, that overall production is decreasing. Not only in Kerala, but also almost all our states, except a few states like Haryana and other few states only they are achieving their target, but other states are remaining that agricultural production is declining everywhere due to that we have to thank COVID-19 because it stopped that urbanization, sir. Most of the agricultural lands are converted into residential area, no? So we have to one way we have to thank COVID-19 because it stopped urbanization. And another thing is everywhere that urban real estate promoters are agricultural land has been converted into residential areas, sir. So that agricultural production is declining. Thanks, sir. Thanks for your excellent response, sir. Thank you.
Professor, I am not encouraging this trend.
No. I am not arguing that way. I am not arguing that way. But migration is everywhere. Migration is everywhere. You said no that villages are converted into urban area. That terminology only I have a problem. But other things your points are excellent. You nicely responded. You quoted well, and your research is excellent, bro, sir.
No, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, more questions. And so I have put 4 questions here for your convenience. You can raise questions on that basis. So I have given 4 research questions and also on that basis, hypothesis also.
So there is a question in the YouTube chat box.
Okay.
How can we pacify the negative impact of urbanization? How can we pacify the negative impact of urbanization?
So as far as Kerala's case, violence on the increase in Kerala, suicides on the increase in Kerala, particularly more in the case of urban than in rural. Even AIDS, suicides, AIDS are also on the increase in Kerala. So the mortality rate in Kerala is declining. At the same time, the morbidity, particularly in urban areas, are on the increase. You take the case of the diabetics, heart disease, the cancer, almost Kerala comes second, third position in India. And mostly this is happening in the urban areas because we have statistics from both urban as well as rural. You can easily compare the system. I was actually stunned to see the morbidity. So morbidity is, no, I'm not saying in the negative way. So morbidity is on the increase in Kerala, particularly in the urban areas. Professor? Professor? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So this is actually happening, particularly the urban negative aspects are there. As a consequences, the slums are also on the increase, the violence on the increase in Kerala, particularly among youngsters, the unemployment, poverty, and all aspects are on the increase. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you are from which? Okay, next. Yeah, please.
Yes. So there is one more question in the chat box.
Yeah, you are welcome.
Yes. How can you interconnect this rising educated unemployment and urbanization?
Yeah. Here the industrialization, particularly when you consider the urban growth, actually there is industrialization. It implies industrialization or industrial growth. But Kerala's case is a special one. Hello? Hello? But the Kerala's case, industrially, Kerala is the industrially backward state. There are a number of reasons for that. Even the productivity, when you consider the per labor productivity is very low in Kerala compared to others. Technically also economic, that the economists also examined the per labor productivity is very low in Kerala. The profitability from the manufacturing sector, particularly in the small business and all, is also that on the increase, on the declining. And so these are the very important reason why the people are actually keeping away from Kerala to start industries. So most of these Keralites or entrepreneurs, they start industries only in the adjacent states, Coimbatore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and all these places. They start the industries. So unless we encourage industrialization, so you cannot solve the problem of unemployment in Kerala. So that is my idea. So you have to encourage industrialization along with urbanization. So that is the main answer. So the magnitude is very high. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, please.
Sir, there is another question coming in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's asking what will be the role of modern transportation facilities like metro, train, etc. in urbanization. In the what will such modern transport facilities? How will it play a role in urbanization of our cities?
So infrastructure facilities, particularly the transport facilities, we should get, and I am for this. We should encourage the all modern facilities, definitely in the cities. And I told actually there is emergence of cities, definitely in the course of time in Trivandrum and Calicut, and we expect the modern facilities to come. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I think there are no other no more questions. So Alina, you may.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Rose. Are you there?
Thank you, sir. Now to introduce the keynote speaker, Dr. J. Kishan Pressure, I invite Dr. Chako, sir. Sir, please.
No, you have missed one even. Mr. Nijil will now thank Dr. Ratnaraj. That is to be done, and after that, I will invite. Nijil, can you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Okay.
So, a warm good morning to all. So, Dr. Shirley Joske, Head of the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, and also the IPSC Coordinator. Dr. Chako Jose P, a former Head of the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, and the seminar convener and the current principal, St. Aloysius College, Elturid, and Dr. D. Ratnaraj, Senior Fellow, ICSSR, Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, Trivandrum, and former Professor and Head, Department of Economics, University of Calicut, Dr. Jaykishan Prasad, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Zakir Hussain College, New Delhi, and my dear participants. So now we have completed the inaugural session successfully. And in this occasion, it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks to Dr. D. Ratnaraj. I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. D. Ratnaraj, Senior Fellow, ICSSR, Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, Trivandrum, and former Professor and Head of the Department of Economics, University of Calicut. Really, we got a gifted person as our resource person. He expressed each and every aspect of emergence of new urbanization in Kerala in a beautiful way. So we are really enlightened with your words and presence, sir. On behalf of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, I express my sincere gratitude to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your presence and words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Now to introduce the keynote speaker, Dr. Jaykishan Prasad, I invite Dr. Chako, sir. Sir.
Jaykishan sir, Dr. Jaykishan sir, I hope you have joined. You're there. Yes. Jaykishan sir,
I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. The chief guest of the inaugural speaker of this event is this national event on urbanization and markets. Dr. Ratnaraj, ICSR Senior Fellow at Gulati Institute of Finance. Dr. Shirley Jose, Head of the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. Mr. Nijil Jacobi, the participants of this conference, of this webinar from various parts of India, and my dear students. I have great pleasure in once again welcoming Dr. Jaykishan Prasad to this conference. In fact, as Dr. Shirley mentioned in the beginning, we have been associating with the Dr. Jaykishan since our last international conference on economics of welfare, economics of happiness and welfare, where he presented a very interesting topic on economics as a welfare science. So at that time, after delivering his lecture and interacting with our participants, Dr. Jaykishan suggested he would like to offer a lecture, basically a lecture on the topic of imperfections in market, and basically he would like to address postgraduate students. So we thought it will be a great opportunity for the research scholars and postgraduate students and also other participants to listen to Dr. Jaykishan on a very interesting topic, which is very relevant today. As you know, Dr. Jaykishan has already been introduced to you. I'll just add some more of his qualifications. He is a fellow.
It's not needed, Mr. Chako. It's not required. It's not required. It's Don't be so formal. Don't be so formal. So it's not required.
Okay. So I think without taking much of your time, I would like to invite Dr. J. Krishnan to start with this presentation. And I also request all the participants, especially the postgraduate students, to interact with him once his presentation is over. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can you pin me? I'll be using Blackboard because as I told you, this is, okay, now I'm fine. So thank you, Dr. Charco. Literally, I want to say at the beginning of this talk that I literally bagged this opportunity to interact with the student and why there is a background behind it and why I was interested to interact with young mind and the student who are doing economics. So was the reason behind that was when we interview or our faculty in our colleges, being a senior faculty, I normally sit in the interviews. So there are some issues which I found that the student are not very clear about certain issues. So I literally begged Dr. Charcoal that I wanted to come because as a teacher, I feel this is our responsibility to give the benefit to the larger community of the student, which are looking forward to interact with the teacher. And this is, I feel, is a good opportunity where I can interact with these. So thank you very much, Dr. Chaco and Shirley Jose, Dr. Shirley Jose. She has been so kind about my introduction, and I hope I will be able to do justice with that kind of introduction. And all the faculty members of the college, I'm grateful to all of you, and I'm looking forward rather to interact more regularly in the future as well. Thank you, and most of all, the student. I would like you to have some live interaction. If you could, it won't be a kind of seminar talk or lecture. I want to have a classroom kind of environment where students can freely ask questions to their teachers. So basically, we will be talking about the market and market structure. You know that it's a very important kind of topic in your microeconomics. So I'll be talking about the market structure. And I think I'm audible and everything is all right. Any one of you can pitch in and can say that Blackboard is clear, visible to you, and I'm audible to everybody. My voice and the pitch of the voice is okay to you. Any one of you, if you can just respond. Is everything fine?
Now everything is okay, sir. Now everything is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If there are any issues, our moderators will interact with you.
So I want student to interact. Basically, I want.
No. About technical issues, like if they can't see like that, certainly our technical team will contact with you. The students will interact. I'm talking from the technical side, like.
Okay. That's all right. That's not an issue. I know we are taking classes regularly on this platform. These are the moral hazards of the technology which we all are facing. So that's not an issue. Just I'm trying to know from the student how you define market. Any one of you, how you define market? I'm not testing your knowledge. I'm just trying to create a curiosity in your mind. How do you define market? What is market?
It is a place where buyers and sellers interact with each other.
So good. That's I think my purpose is served. I don't know your name, but I just want to tell you all this.
I'm from the Department of Economics Research Scholar, Central University of Kashmir.
Oh, good. That's great. Now, if you see with this advent of these e-platforms, market is not a place anymore. It has become a process. It's a mechanism. It's a medium. Or it's a structure through which potential buyers and potential sellers interact to effectuate the transactions. So market is not a place anymore. Market has become a process, a medium, a mechanism, or a set of institutional arrangement through which potential buyers and potential sellers can interact. And then we define the market on the basis of certain yardstick in different category. How many types of market you do in economics? Any one of you? How many types of markets are there?
3 types of market.
Huh?
There are 3 types of market: perfect competition market, imperfect competition market, and monopolist.
Okay. There are broadly markets are divided in 3 categories. You mentioned 3 if you say the kinds are 4, but markets are divided in 2 categories. They are known as perfectly competitive market and non-perfectly or imperfectly competitive market. And what is the basis of this division? That is very important. How they are divided into category. That is very important. And I want you all to interact and come in. अगर किसी को दूसरे बच्चे को कुछ कहना, anybody is interested to pitch in and say anything, please come, and I won't tell really a meaningful interaction. It's simply based on the syllabus which you are doing in your colleges, in your universities level. So please pitch in if you have any other issues, if you want to add on. So this division is on the basis of the element of monopoly. In this case of the perfect competition, there is complete absence of monopoly element, no element of monopoly. No element of monopoly. All other markets which are classified as imperfect market, non-perfectly competitive markets are classified as imperfect markets or non-perfectly competitive market. Why? Because they have certain elements of monopoly. There are certain traces of monopoly. And that is why you have these 3 types of market in the non-perfectly competitive category. One is known as pure monopoly or monopoly. The second one is monopolistic competition. And the third one is oligopoly. If you see the name of these markets, all of this will have poly word associated with them. And poly simply indicate the right ownership, control. So in this kind of market structure, which is known as non-perfectly competitive market, you will find certain elements of monopoly, certain degree of monopoly they would be enjoying. So what is the basis of the division? The first division is based on this element of monopoly. Perfectly competitive market. Believe me, this is the one of the simplest way to understand. And I like my student to have things in black and white. And I will try to give you a lot of things in black and white so that there is no confusion at all. So bear for 1 hour, try to again, I'm telling you, get into it, argue with me, try to disturb me, and we will enjoy that kind of interaction. So the first and foremost division of the market is on the basis of the power. In the case of perfect competition, and that is why it is known as perfect competition. Competition is so perfect that there is no imperfection at all. And the imperfection is measured on the account of this element of monopoly. So how do you measure monopoly? You must have seen or read about this, the AP learner formula to know the degree of monopoly. And that would be very interesting if you can just relate it with you. If you have done perfect competition at any level, you must be knowing in the case of perfect competition, I'm now calling it PC and this as non-PC. have done perfect competition, you must be knowing that in the case of perfect competition, price is always equal to marginal cost. And there was an economist who was AP learner who defined that any divergence between price and marginal cost will indicate the monopoly power. And that is why if you have done, you must be knowing that price is always greater than marginal cost in all of the market except the perfect competition. And that is one of the reasons why these are known to be imperfect market and as a source of market failure. Why? Because the economic efficiency is measured on two accounts. One is price should be equal to the marginal cost. Economic efficiency, what is this kind of efficiency is known as? This is known as allocative efficiency. And then there is a production efficiency when you have the minimum of average cost, In all these markets, you will not find these two elements, and that is why they are known as inefficient market. Inefficient market. And any kind of inefficiency in the market is the source of failure. Source of market failure. I will not talk on this because then it will take to some different direction. So I will focus on this degree of monopoly power. So in the case of perfect competition, price is always equal to the marginal cost. In this case, price is always greater than marginal cost. So any divergence from price to the marginal cost will lead to the monopoly. And that is why the AP learner formula says that the divergence between price and marginal cost is the measure of degree of monopoly. That is how you measure the degree of monopoly. And you must be knowing this as a relationship with the elasticity of demand. If you can just extend this, you must be knowing that price is always equal to the average revenue. So I can write average revenue at the point of in all markets which assume the profit maximization as a condition. MR is equal to MC. So at the point of equilibrium, MR would be equal to MC. This would be the formula to measure. You must be knowing we can calculate the elasticity of price, which is equal to average revenue divided by average marginal revenue. So this and this you can relate, and this is nothing but the degree of monopoly will come out to be 1 upon EP. So higher the elasticity, lower would be the degree of monopoly. Higher the elasticity, lower would be the degree of monopoly. And that is why in the case of perfect competition, you know, the degree of elasticity, the value of elasticity is infinity. That is why the degree of monopoly in the case of competition is equal to 0. But in the case of other market, there are certain, so the elasticity is not infinity. It is.
Sir, I think, sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
You may turn your camera a little bit down. Down in. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. It's perfectly okay now. Thank you.
Thank you. And any question on this, Bhai? Any question on this? I'm assuming that all of you are my students, and I'm referring to those only. So, any one of you having any take on this? So, the first thing I just want to confirm and highlight is that markets are divided in two categories. One is perfectly competitive market. The second one is imperfectly competitive market. And in imperfectly competitive group, you have 3 types of market depending upon the degree of monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly. Before I proceed further, I just want to add one more dimension to this. I think this is clear to everyone. Any question on this? You must have done this in the elasticity form, and this can be derived mathematically. Most of you must be doing mathematical economics at your any level of graduation and post graduation. So all of these, I believe, are there with you. So any part of which I need to elaborate or just I'm highlighting that once again. I'm telling you the markets are divided in two categories: perfectly and imperfectly market. The basis of that division is this elements of monopoly. And the elements of monopoly, in the case of perfect competition, there is a complete absence of monopoly element, whereas in the case of other markets, there are certain elements of monopoly which you will find. So I'll proceed because I have a lot of things to discuss, so I will not stick to this. Now, the second question I just want to raise, and these are the important questions which normally have some googly effect on the student which we are interviewing. Now, if I ask you, how you differentiate oligopoly with the rest of the market? Any one of you? Oligopoly, how it is different from other kinds of market? Anyway, the oligopoly is different from rest of the market. Because of the interdependence among the firm. Because of this assumption of interdependence among the firm. So I'm now giving a introductory part of my talk is this: markets are divided in two categories: perfect competition and imperfect competition. The basis of that division is about the element of monopoly. How you can differentiate oligopoly from other markets is this assumption or this recognition, rather, I will say, of the interdependence among the firms. All other firms, all other market structure assume that firms behave in an independent manner, and in reality, interdependence is a very, very big issue. And that is why in the case of oligopoly, you have that strategic behavior. I will come to that. Before that, I just want to focus on some aspect of this division a little bit more, and then I'll introduce some more basic concepts which I feel are very important. Now, to divide or to differentiate a market from the other market, normally you adopt two criteria. If as the intervention by a dear colleague has only mentioned three markets, I'm taking first three types of market. One is perfect competition, monopoly, and monopolistic competition. There are two yardsticks. First yardstick, if we apply, is the number of participants or number of buyers and sellers. If we can apply, we can say there are large number of buyers in the case of perfect competition, and there are large number of buyer and seller in the case of monopolistic competition as well. In this case, there are single seller. Though the meaning of largeness is different in the case of perfect market and imperfectly competitive market, but even we assume that it's like this. Even if you don't know this, it's not written on. Simply by mentioning single seller, we can say this is a market. So on this account, we can differentiate this market from the other market. To differentiate between these two similar looking market, we divide second yardstick. We apply second yardstick, that is the nature of the commodity. The nature of commodity. The nature of commodity, in the case of product competition, it's homogeneous. In the case of this, we have product differentiation. So any market with large number of buyers and sellers selling a commodity which is homogeneous will be identified as or classified as a perfectly competitive market, and any market having large number of buyers and sellers selling a product which is different from each other will be classified as monopolistic competition. So I'll talk a little bit on this, and I'll try to introduce some basic concept. How you define homogeneity? कैसे होता है भाई? Why? How you define homogeneity? They are perfect substitute. Rather, they are similar in all respect. They are similar in all respect. They are similar in all respects. How you define substitute, by any one of you? How you define substitute? You must have done all of these things. How you define substitutes? तो बात करो भाई आप या तो I think some of you should come and respond to these questions. It's like don't worry about your teachers. I want you to interact. I'm just trying to iron out certain things. Just let me throw a question on you. Can a bicycle and helicopter be substitutes? Yes or no?
No.
No. Why? How do you define substitute then? What is substitute? I'm a bit because I'm teaching now.
Excuse me, sir. When goods are preferred over one another, say for example, you have coffee and tea. If the price of coffee increases, we can prefer over the tea. So we can say goods are substitutes.
Okay. These are very, very big issues, but don't please read all the text. At least apply this knowledge which you are getting from your text to your day-to-day activities. Tea and coffee has become a very old kind of example. And I'll talk on this example as well. All of you are having mobile instruments. Think about the mobile instrument of different category. Just think about it. And you need to define substitutes are those goods which have almost equal level of utility. If it become identical, then they are perfect substitutes. Normally, substitutes are those goods which are having almost same level of utility, and that is why they can be used in place of one and all. And as you have given this example, tea and coffee, you want to have something hot, you can have coffee or tea. That is that kind of connotation you have in your mind. But let me explain this and talk to you. Well, how do you define utility? How do you define utility? Utility is a want satisfying power of a commodity. You're feeling thirsty, a glass of power has the power to satisfy. So what is the utility of this class? What is the utility of this class? The utility of this class is that suppose you want to learn something new about economics or something about economics. This class has power to satisfy that urge of knowing something. So utility is a want satisfying power of a commodity. You must have done that. Same commodity may have different level of satisfaction for A and B. Like this is a butter chicken, this is vegetarian person, and this is a non-vegetarian person. So you can imagine butter chicken is having different person, B is having different person. So it is said that utility doesn't lie in the commodity. Utility lies in the psyche of the consumer. You must have heard about this famous line of the Shakespeare, beauty lies in the mind of eyes of beholder, utility lies in the mind of the consumer. So it's a psychological phenomenon. That's why it differs from situation to situation. And that is why A has different level of utility from B. It has no moral, ethical, or legal dimension. All these are there in that part of theory of demand, which you must have done. But I'm trying to say, coming back to my example of this helicopter and bicycle, there was an empathetic know about that. I want to discuss this with you, and I want to clarify many things regarding this. And I believe today, after today, you will be able to identify the commodity, what kind of substitutes there. Now, listen it very carefully. When I'm talking about this helicopter and a bicycle, what I'm trying to say is that you need to know that substitutes are of two types. Technical substitute and economical substitute. Technical substitute and economical substitute. All substitutes are technical substitute in the sense that they try to fulfill the same kind of want, same kind of want, same kind of want. Economical substitutes mean that they are in the same price range. Now, I've given you, definitely this example will give you a lot of jolt in your mind, but if you feel and try to analyze it, it's a mean of transportation. Bicycle is also identified as a mean of transportation, and a helicopter is also a mean of transportation. Technically, they are substitute because they are used for the transportation purpose, taking you from one place to the second place. But they may not be in the economic range. Think about, now come to the ground, think about Maruti Wagoner and Mercedes car. Think about the Maruti car and Mercedes car. Both are technical substitute, may not be economical substitute, and are not economical substitute. You must be knowing that Maruti Wagoner may cost you around 5 lakh rupees, and Mercedes will cost you 40 lakh or 50 lakh rupees. Both are means of transportation. Imagine the example I gave: basic keypad phone and smartphone, then a Chinese phone and iPhone. Getting my point? A basic phone with key and a smartphone are technical substitute, but may not be economical substitute. A smartphone and iPhone are not economically substitute, but maybe technical substitute. Both are used for the communication. Just imagine, I'm giving a very interesting example. iPhone, latest generation, 12th generation iPhone. And the phone specially crafted for Nita Ambani. Do you know the price of the Nita Ambani phone? Google it after my class. It's around 500 crore. Imagine a phone of 1 lakh rupee and the same, which is made by iPhone, this Apple group. And the cost of that phone is 500 rupees. Just imagine the bike you're driving, and the bike driven by John Abraham, MS Dhoni, and so on and so forth. The shirt I'm wearing, the shirt is worn by Salman Khan. The bottom I'm wearing, and the bottom Salman Khan is wearing. You talk about the tea and coffee. What kind of tea and coffee you're talking about? Tea on roadside and tea in a 5-star hotel. Both are tea. Food on a roadside dhaba and food in a 5-star hotel. Both are food. They are technically satisfying your hunger, but economically they are not the same. So please try to understand there is a difference, and that is why you must have seen watch I'm wearing. The watch Shahrukh Khan or Salman Khan or any other celebrity is wearing, you can imagine. The Ferrari car and any other car which your family is driving are not economically substitute, but they are technically substitute. You will say them cars. So please try to understand these differences, and these differences are very important to classify the commodities in categories. So the substitutes are those commodities have the same kind of utility, and they are defined on the basis of technical substitute and economical substitute. All substitutes are technical substitute, but may not be economical substitute. When you talk about the commodity in a particular market, then you segment those. Like when you talk about the automobile sector, you say 5 lakh segment, 10 lakh segment, 20 lakh, 50 lakh, or so and so forth. And what you're defining the price range of those substitutes. So when you talk about the substitute, you need to keep in mind that commodities divided on the basis of technical substitution and economical substitution. Any question on this? Now you won't say any interviewer asking you, is a helicopter, a bicycle is a substitute, you will say, yes, sir. They are technical substitute, but not economical substitute. Okay, any other question on this aspect? So the goods which are technically substitute may not be economically substitutes. So the second part, this I will take longer way because I love all these things. So product differentiation you must have done in the case of monopolistic competition, and I just want to bring back this product competition, monopoly and monopolistic competition once again. This largeness part I want to discuss, and then I'll try to take you a little bit. This single seller. In this case, you have seen this homogeneity part. In this case, product differentiation is of two types. It's known as real and fancied product differentiation, or imaginary product differentiation. Known as real product differentiations are cases when the utility of X is almost equal to the quality of X is almost equal to the quality of Y. When fancied, in the case of fancied commodity, sorry, in the case of fancied commodity, the quality of Y commodity, and through various medium, the consumer is convinced that my product is different from the second product. And the famous example which I caught in my classes is about Pepsi and Coke. If you are not a very habitual drinker of this two colas, which you should not drink at all, you cannot say with authority if you are served in a glass that this is a Pepsi or this is a Coke. Why? Because the quality-wise products are so similar that there is no difference, but by changing the color, the size, the packaging, and moreover, in this case, by changing the advertisement strategy, the consumers are convinced that my product is the different and real cola or whatever they use, that taglines. You must have heard in one of the World Cup, Pepsi was the sponsor. The tagline was World Cup obviously means cricket. In that tagline was official drink of the World Cup of the players. That rival group came with the tagline similar to that. Nothing official about it. So you can imagine why they are competing with each other. And you must have done this case in the case of Liverpool. I'll try to come and try to give you some gist about this as well. So without analyzing much in this aspect, because this is simply real, is when quality-wise you can imagine a assembled TV or a genuine branded TV. The quality-wise they may be different, but in the case of fancy, the quality-wise products are same. So advertisement and other medium of differentiation, like you have warranty, guarantee, after sale services, giving something free, and all these are scratch card and everything. These are the instrument to differentiate your product from the rest of the product. I just want to say one thing about this largeness in the case of product and monopoly. Any one of you can pitch in and why they are different from each other. What is the meaning of largeness in the case of perfect competition, and what is the meaning of largeness in the case of monopolistic competition? Any one of you? Anyway, this is not about the number. This is about the capacity to influence the demand. No single seller has capacity or the power or the control over the demand. He has no capacity to influence the total demand. His contribution to the total supply is so negligible, so insignificant, so minimal that even if he is not supplying anything, the total supply of the market will remain unaffected. So his contribution to the total as a single seller is almost insignificant, negligible. Whereas in this case, they have certain control. They can influence this And I just want to talk about this part of this. As you know, anything which you use, barring one thing, it is more likely to be operating in the monopolistic setup. Like you brush in the morning, when you get up, you brush, clean your teeth, and there are large number of toothpaste available in the market. There are large number of toothpaste available in the market. That is why we say it's a large number of sellers. Now imagine out of that large number, one is Colgate. So Colgate has 10% or 8% market power. Colgate has 10% market power. So he has control over a part, over a segment of the market. But this control is not absolute. Why? Because the 90% of the market, there are other suppliers. There are other suppliers and who are supplying a commodity which is close substitute. Which is close substitute. But he has a power to influence 10% of the market. In a way, you can say he has monopoly over a segment of the market, over a part of the market, over a range of the market. But this monopoly is not absolute. He's facing competition from other supplier. That is why it is known as monopolistic competition. It is known as monopolistic competition. You have a monopoly power over a range of the market, but that is all. There is also other supplier who are supplying the same kind of commodity. That is why it is known as monopolistic competition. Now you must have done this. These two extremes, that is perfect competition, and you must be knowing perfect competition is a market structure which is an academic market. It is a lab created market. You will not find them in actual practice because it's so good to be true. It is so perfect to be real. So I say, it may not sound good to many people. I say when this Susmita Sen was declared Miss Universe, that is most beautiful female of the universe. It's like that. Perfect competition is that perfect. There is no perfection at all. You can judge the imperfection of other female by comparing with Susmita Sen. Similarly, you can compare the imperfection in other market by comparing it with the perfect competition. It's like a mirror. You can see where you are not perfect. This is a kind of market you are talking about. But most of the, you must have done other aspect as well, most of the growth models, most of the situations are assuming that there is a perfect competition. And that is why there are certain, we talked when there was an international conference, that is why there are certain economists who are feeling frustrated by, these are not the model which are explaining the reality, because perfect competition setup is not real kind of setup. Anyway, I don't want to get into the criticism part of the economics. So this was about the perfect, this monopolistic competition. I want to now focus on this perfect competition, as you must be knowing. The market structure which believe there are large number of sellers selling a homogeneous commodity with the no restriction on entry and so on and so forth. So before I come to the comparison part between monopoly and perfect competition and highlight certain issues which you may face, I just want to tell you about the entries in the market structure. All the markets, either by definition like monopoly, you blockade the entry, or you say it's a free entry and exit. Free entry and exit. Must have done in the case of perfect competition, in the case of monopolistic competition, we say free entry and exit, free entry and exit. And you must be known, entry and exit is possible only in the long run. That is why you have different kind of equilibrium in the long run and in the short run. But when you talk about monopolies, by definition, it's not allowed because you want to have single cell, so you cannot have the entries possible over there. In the case of oligopoly, you must have done. In the case of oligopoly, and I want to highlight this, in the case of oligopoly, there are difficulties. It's not like license you will have to take. It's not any, and nobody is banning you to enter in this. But there are certain difficulties to enter in this market. And those difficulties are of two types. These are classified as structural difficulties or strategic difficulties. In structural difficulty, you must be knowing that oligopoly is a big market. There are few large sellers, and we can discuss about this because this is such a big topic. You must have done at least 15 lectures on these market structures. So I'm trying to give you the gist of those, and particularly those areas which you may not have got highlighted in your discussion. So structural are of two types. One is maybe because of the economies of scale. The economies of scale are such that existing firms are enjoying that economies of scale, and if they will be enjoying the economies of scale, their cost will be low, and new entrant will have to operate at higher cost, which may not be a very competitive kind of situations. Second, maybe because of the reputation of existing brand, the reputation or the brand loyalty of existing brand is such that no new entrant could enter in the market. I just want to narrate a simple incident about this. In your area, maybe it's not that in the southern part. I believe that MTR is a big name in the spice market, but in North India, maybe in North Indian dishes, you must be using it. There is a very big name, MDH masalas or MDH spices. And just want to tell you that fellow who was around 100 years died recently, the mascot of this MDH. He has many daughters, 4 or 5 daughters. One of his son-in-law was looking after the business. You must have seen he was very fragile, old enough to take all kind of these business decisions which are required for such a large organization. So his son-in-law was doing that. There was a family dispute. I'm just cutting that story. There was a family dispute, and he decided to throw that son-in-law out. And that son-in-law was carrying this impression that since last 15 years or 20 years, I'm running this business. All of these fellows who are working over here are my people. So he asked them, come with me. We will have a different setup. Dusra will create a second brand and we will sell it. He tried literally and he failed. Why? Because the reputation of MDH in the market was so high that new entrant could not sustain in the market. Similarly, I don't know, this example I use in Delhi, this quality milk. There is a very good brand of quality ice cream. In Delhi, if you see, there are two types of brand which are holding the market, is it Mother Dairy and this Amul products. This quality milks, 4 years back or so, they tried to enter in the market, and Akshay Kumar, the leading star of this Hindi cinema, was made the brand ambassador. There was full page ad on the newspaper and in TV. They could not sustain. Why? Because of the reputation of this Amul and Mother Dairy in the minds of the consumer. So I'm not saying that nobody can enter in the market, but it's not like that. We are assuming in the case of perfect competition in monopoly that you can come into the market any time you wish and you can exit out the market whenever you feel, because there are certain complexity of exiting as well, and you must have done some kind of this exit issues somewhere. And in the case of strategic, you must have heard about this predatory pricing. That trying to frighten away their competitor, new entrant, these existing oligopolists try to predate them by using this predate repricing, and they start charging a price which is below the cost of production, and the new entrant feel that this is not the price I can sell my commodity. So he get frightened away. Once the threat of entry is over, they start charging the normal price. So predatory pricing as a strategy is adopted by the oligopolists to frighten away new entrant in the market. The second, which is also very commonly used, is flooding the market with the commodity, flooding the market with the supply of the commodity. You can just flood the market when the new entrant do any market survey. They find that a lot of this kind of product, similar product, is lying in the with the shopkeepers, and there is no such demand available over there. So this kind of issues are there. Why? Because in reality, the situations are different, and that is why oligopoly is the only market which you can say is nearer to the real market. And that is why they behave in a strategic manner. That is why in the case of oligopoly, there is a this undetermined demand, and that is why you have different types of model to determine the demand. You divide in them two categories: cooperative and non-cooperative, or collusive and non-collusive oligopoly, simply to know the behavior of the firm so that we can locate the point of equilibrium. And doing so, you have multiple kind of situation in which you have duopoly model, in which you have this Nash-Purno kind of situation. Then you have this price leadership model, in which one behave like a leader because he is controlling the maximum part of the market, and other becomes the follower. It's just like a setup of the industry and the firm. In the case of perfect competition, the price leader become the price setter, and other or price maker, other becomes the price taker, and he decide about the price. Similarly, you could talk about the king demand curve, in which if you will increase the price, nobody will increase, but if you will decrease the price, all of your competitor will decrease the price. Because of this, there is a kink in the demand curve, and because of that kink, there is a discontinuity in the marginal revenue. And if you are operating in this discontinuous area of the marginal revenue, you will be having price rigidity, because there won't be any change in the price and the quantity. And these are the very, very good example. If you see around, just imagine, since how many years the Pepsi and Coke are selling their product on a similar price, because they do not want to indulge in the price war. And the setup is such that they create an environment where even if cost is a little bit going down or going up, within that range of discontinuous marginal revenue, you don't change the price to avoid that price war. So I think I will not get into the nitty-gritties, because but one thing I will definitely do, and take a breath, and because I'm trying to cover so many areas, I just want to tell you a few more things about this monopolistic competition. As you must have heard about how you define industry. Any one of you? How you define industry? Any one of you? बच्चों क्या हो गया? Students, where are you?
Group of the firms form an industry.
Group of firm. What is their qualification? What is their qualification? Firms
form an industry.
What kind of group of firm?
So, for example, we have automobile industry. So there are a lot of the firms that are manufacturing the cars. If we collect all them, they form an industry, what we call core industry.
Good. Just try to understand. That is what I'm here today. Industry is defined as a group of firm, as you rightly said, group of firm producing a homogeneous commodity. producing a homogeneous commodity. This was the technical definition of industry. And you know, in the case of perfect competition, you can define easily industry because all the firms are producing homogeneous commodity. Then in the case of monopoly, there is no difference between farm and industry because there is only single seller. E is equal to industry. When this model of monopolistic competition was given by E. Chamberlain and Mrs. John Robinson, they said that products are different. So this question was posed to them. Now, what will happen to this industry, concept of industry? So they said, we will not call them industry, rather we will call them a group. We will call them a group instead of calling them industry. Now, the second question was, who will join the group? They gave this formula that all those firms which are producing a commodity which have high positive cross elasticity, that cement making firm or leather making firm cannot join one group. So what was the qualification to be in that group? Qualification was that the firm which are producing a commodity which have high positive cross elasticity. You must be knowing the cross elasticity is positive when goods are substitutes. And if they are good substitute, they will join the group. So the concept of industry collapse in the case of this monopolistic competition. You, as a student of economics, we loosely are using these automobile industry, but you must have this thing in your mind. When we talk about the industry, we talk about the situation when technically the commodities are commodity. But nowadays we are using that in a loose manner. We are basically using it for the group which has been defined by this and Robinson setup. So this much I wanted to say about this. The last this part which I'm trying to tell you is this imperfection part. I think I have how much time? Dr. Chaco, are you there?
Sir, you have 15 more minutes, sir.
15 more minutes. Okay, thank you. 15 more minutes for the presentation, and then you can ask your question. I would love to have questions if you have any. So if you compare the perfect competition and monopoly, there are very important dimensions which you need to understand. Now, suppose I could have narrated a lot of examples and making you comfortable, but imagine a situation. These vaccines, say there is only single vaccine available. So that vaccine price will be decided in a monopoly setup. In a monopoly setup, you must be knowing that in the case of this monopoly, you have downward sloping and halfway would be, I don't want to get into that right now, the relationship between AR and MR. So halfway would be the marginal revenue. Now, suppose simply, if this is the marginal cost, in a monopoly setup, this will be the point of view because assuming that profit maximization is the objective of the firm, and you know the maximization of objective is by done in mathematics as well. Maxima, minima, maximization of any function require two conditions. First derivative should be equal to 0. Second derivative must be negative, from which you derive MR should be equal to MC, and MC should intersect MR from below. So both the conditions are met over here. So this is the point where equilibrium, and you can see this OQ is the quantity, and OP is the price. OP is the price. So this is a price charged by a monopolist and price quantity sold by a monopolist. Now tomorrow, suppose there are multiple kind of vaccines available after 1 year or after 6 months. There are large number of vaccines available. So this monopoly will be broken, and you will have a situation where all vaccines are same, they are homogeneous, and there are large number of having no control over the market. So in that setup, you will have price, and the point of equilibrium will be this. Where this would be the price and this would be the quantity of a competitive market. So now you compare these markets, and you will find he is charging this much extra price. The monopolist is charging higher price than the competitive market, and he is selling the quantity which is less than the quantity sold by the monopolist. You can see over here, the price is equal to marginal cost in this case. You can see at this point, price is equal to marginal cost. Whereas in the case of monopoly, this is the marginal cost. So there is a divergence between price and marginal cost. In the case of monopoly, the price charged by a monopolist is greater than the marginal cost. And this is an indicator of the allocative inefficiency. And all of you must have done it. Out of this, because of this, there would be these deadweight losses to the society. That is why it is also known as social cost of monopoly, because so monopoly in a two-sector model consists of consumer and producer, or a buyer and seller. This is the loss to the buyers who are buying it at a higher price, because if it would have been a perfect competition, they would have been giving this price. So you can see if the perfect competition is there, this would be the consumer surplus. But if there is a monopoly, there is a this much only the consumer surplus. So this part is exploited by the monopolists, and this is the loss to those consumers who are unable to buy this commodity because of higher price. So A is the higher price paid by those who are buying it at higher price. It is the loss to those consumers who are still buying this commodity at a higher price. B is the loss to those consumers who are unable to buy this. If it is a perfect competition, the seller would be able to sell this quantity. Because of monopoly, the sellers will not be able to sell this quantity. So this is the loss to the buyer who are unable to buy. This is the loss to the seller who are unable to sell. So the deadweight loss is equal to P loss. I want to get further into this. Any question on this? If it is there, we can talk about that. Secondly, the same model can be used as a special case of dumping. And you must be knowing dumping is a practice in which same commodity is sold at a higher price in the domestic market and at a lower price in the international market. Imagine a situation when a firm may be in a monopoly setup at the domestic level. Say, for example, before privatization, there was only one kind of aeroplanes available or air services available in India. Say, if you want to go from Trivandrum to Delhi, you will have to book your ticket through Air India, and they may charge higher price. But if you want to go from your place to, say, Dubai, there would be international flights available. So Air India will be operating in a competitive environment over there. So you could see this would become the world price, and this will become the domestic price. That's why it's known as special case, monopoly as a special case of dumping. So in this case, domestic sellers, buyers are paying higher price, and international buyers are paying lower price because of the difference in the market structure. Domestically, the seller is enjoying the monopoly power, whereas when they operate at the world market or international market, they are facing a competition from other suppliers, so they cannot charge the same price. Secondly, I just want to highlight one very important point over here. If I can redraw this diagram with your permission, if I assume that marginal cost is constant. In that case, and you must have seen marginal cost can be constant. Just have imagine a situation of marriage in a banquet hall where the prices are per plate. In that case, average cost will be equal to the marginal cost. Just imagine that situation. I'm highlighting one last slide, and I will stop because this is a very kind of very use structure which I try to introduce to you, the minor points. Just see this one, and I'll try to give you a new dimension as well. And all of you who are doing research, I'm offering you a area where you can do your research. Just see this one, right? AR, halfway would be the marginal revenue. If I assume average cost is equal to marginal cost, then this is your AC is equal to MC. Then the point of equilibrium will be this. This will become the monopolist price, and this will become a competitive price. Now just imagine this. He is enjoying this. He is enjoying this profit. This will become the average cost as well. So this will average revenue. This is average cost. This will become average profit multiplied by the quantity. This will become profit. You can all do it. It's not that great deal. Now he is enjoying, monopolist is enjoying this profit. Now just imagine a situation. He is feeling that there may be competition. So he will behave in such a manner that he would like to avoid the competition to retain this profit. And this is known as rent-seeking behavior. Rent-seeking behavior. Rent-seeking behavior. Why? Because you know that if there would be a competition, my price will go down to this level and I may lose all this profit. So what he will do? He will resort to all kind of activity to maintain this profit, even by spending some of this profit by avoiding that competition. That is what crony capitalism is. Just imagine you are a capitalist. You have invented your vaccine. You would like other vaccine not to enter in the market. Why? Because they will reduce the price. So what you will do in this pre-liberalized situation, Indian politicians were notorious for this, giving license to somebody and then that capitalist giving them money not to give license to anybody to enjoy this. Just imagine this politician why there is a violence in the politics. Just think about the economics of violence. Why? Because you have achieved a position. You are an MLA, you are a MP, member parliament, member legislative, or member of even a Panchayati Raj. If there is any challenge from any competitive candidate that will challenge your this position, you will resort to all kinds of activities. Maybe illegal, maybe those which are not appropriate you to be as a leader to eliminate that threat. All these CD counts, all these kind of character assassinations, all kind of these criticisms are nothing but this rent-seeking behavior. These are very common traits of our imperfect personality, I will call that. Suppose, imagine, I'm just giving you very lighter examples, the student particularly listening to. Imagine you are a student, the most beautiful or the most handsome of your classmate is your friend, if I can use that boyfriend or girlfriend. You will like to avoid other to interact with your that boyfriend or girlfriend. That is also a rent-seeking behavior. You're trying to avoid the competition of that. And this is used in multiple kind of situation, but originally we explain it in the setup of the monopoly. So I'll stop over here. Thank you very much. I've been very fast. If there is any question, I would be very happy. It would have been better, right, if we would have been interacting in between. I thought I'm not able to reach to your level, so maybe there are certain issues which I may not have explained properly. But, thank you very much. Any question, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. The stage is now open for Q&A session. The participants may kindly unmute your mic and ask your questions or type your questions in the chat box. Anyone can ask questions.
If there is no question, that means I failed in my duty. Because I tried to raise many controversial kind of situation which you may not have discussed in your classes. Anyone want to say anything? Any student is not interested to ask any question? What happened?
So there is a question in the YouTube chat box.
Can somebody read it for me?
Yes, sir. I will read it for you. It's a simple question. That is, can you suggest any example for perfect competition?
You can manufacture that example. You could see about the grain wheat market if you think about the North India. Just imagine wheat is so homogeneous and the contribution of single farmer is so negligible. You must have seen many lakh of metric ton every year we procure through this FCI. So the contribution of single seller is very negligible. Is not able to influence the total supply of the wheat in the market, and wheat being a homogeneous commodity, and there are large number of. But the other there are why I'm saying this. There are other properties as well. You must have seen the perfect knowledge and perfect mobility of the factor of production, which you must have done in the case of perfectly competitive market. perfect mobility is a issue even in the case of agriculture, because diversification is not happening. At least in North India, people are doing that wheat and rice kind of cropping pattern. So perfect competition, again, I'm telling you, is too good to be true. All these conditions are very difficult to.
So there is one more question in the chat box. So there are certain companies, oligopoly formed in telecom market. And nowadays there are certain mergers like Vodafone, Idea merging and all. And so whether it is, going to be a monopoly in the future, and how can that influence the market or the consumers?
But that's one of the best question I would say so far, because you must have seen there are mergers and acquisition in the case of telecom sector, and if you see the properties of oligopoly, there are huge kind of economies of scale. You must be knowing that you require lot of fund. The initial investment by this Geo was 1 lakh crore rupees, which is a very big amount. So because of this sustainability factor, there are mergers and acquisition, and that is the normal phenomenon of oligopoly structure. Mergers and acquisition will definitely take place in the case of monopoly, in the case of oligopoly. But as far as monopoly is concerned, it won't happen. It won't happen. Why? Because there are certain anti-monopoly situation which are in place, so you won't find any thing. Rather, I'm telling you, with the invention of this technology, more and more these markets will become competitive, and they may have strategic alliance from the multinational company even. So this is very good question, and that is why we have all the markets, and that is what you need to see around you. You have a situation, and most of you, by reading books, say there are few large sellers. It's not the truth about the oligopoly. You may have a situation in which you have few large sellers, but that doesn't mean there are only few large sellers. You just imagine television markets. You just imagine any other product about watches, about anything. There would be 4 or 5 dominant players in the market. But that doesn't mean there are only 4 or 5. There would be very smaller kind of supplier who are supplying to the market. So oligopoly is a very complex market, and this is the real market. And the reality is very difficult to comprehend. It's very complex, and that is why you will have to have some assumption. And because of those assumptions, sometimes we become a little bit away from the reality. But the reality is that we are operating in an oligopoly set. All markets are oligopoly markets, because without interdependence, no market can survive. All of the market except oligopoly assume that they are. You must have seen in the case of monopolistic competition about that heroic assumption. Chamberlain himself knew that what kind of assumption I'm making. He said that heroic assumptions mean that all the firms know and have uniform demand and cost functions. Which is a very unrealistic assumption, because all firms will have different market, different demand, and different kind of cost structure. And that is why when entry will take place, what they said, when entry will take place, everybody will lose equal share to the new entrant. If there would be exit, everybody will gain equal to the market which is left by the exiting firms, which are not real situations. Like you must have seen this Geo phenomenon. It's a kind of reverse predatory pricing. He announced a price which was not price based on the cost of production. It was a predatory pricing, and all these jolted the entire market, and because of which Aircell and many other has left. Idea and Vodafone had to combine to use their cost structure so that they can be operating in a competitive environment. Otherwise, you will get out of the market. These are the issues which I wanted to discuss, and इसलिए हम चाहते हैं, I believe that there should be offline classes. We can have eye-to-eye contact. I can understand what things are going in your mind. As a student, I love to interact, and this is how I teach in my. You must have seen this is my home. I take my lectures over here. I try to instigate my student and try to involve them to be in that learning mode. Anyone else?
So one more question is there on the chat box. During times of COVID-19, demand for online products have increased. How do the online market is going to influence Indian economy in the future?
Can you repeat that? I'm not.
During COVID-19, demand for online products have increased.
Oily products?
Online
products. Okay,
market.
good. Online
How
products.
do this online market is going to influence the Indian economy in the future?
Definitely, they will. That is a new kind of invention. And that is why, if you remember, I told you the definition of market has lost the place. Place is not any. You don't require any place. That is why this is an alternate mechanism. What you are getting online, the product which you used to buy by going to the local market, those are being delivered to you at the convenience of your home. So the dynamics of the market are changing. The medium through which you are interacting with the seller is changing. And that is why you have all kind of these try and return kind of things given by. And these are interesting phenomena. You need to understand this way. After 5 years or 10 years, you will be only maybe having the online markets. So you need to get into this. Earlier, when initially these online platforms were announced, all the consumer has this apprehension. Now, what kind of quality would be there? Because you buy commodity by feeling that commodity. You see the texture and the kind of thing about the product. Now, what they had done, they had tried to make you confident about their product by giving you the reviews, by giving you that you try and return without any question being asked. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to create an ecosystem in which consumer and the seller can be confident about their behavior. And believe me, this will create some kind of perfection in the market. Some kind of imperfection. You must have read something about this asymmetry of information, which lead to the market failure. So that asymmetry of information will narrow down with the invention of these online, because the information gathering will become a little bit easier. So you can read the reviews, you can talk to the other community people who are buying from the same platform. They may, if you are not able to satisfy as a seller to those consumers, they may write a wrong review about it. And you must have heard about this taxi wala, Zomatos and all this. Please rate me high, give me stars. Why? Because their remuneration is based on that star. So they are forced to behave. That is another part of behavioral economics. I'm not interested in that right now. And any other question? It was of any important.
Yes, sir. There is one more question in the chat box, YouTube chat box. So how do these disinvestment is going to benefit the consumers? Like the government is selling this public sector undertakings, the shares, like railways, and how it's going to benefit the consumers?
Definitely, this is a very I want to tell you these are very important issue, and as a student of economics, you should look into these issues from your theoretical understanding. What this will do? This will reduce the inefficiency because of the bureaucratism, because of the many other aspects in the public sector. And now the philosophy world over is this: government has no business to be in business, and you require market-based solutions with the perfect definable regulatory objectives. The problem in India is that we don't have those definable parameters of regulations. And there again come into this picture, this license system, bureaucratism. Otherwise, market is more efficient, is greater leveler, except two fields, education and health. Why? Because by doing privatization of health and education, we are trying to create a situation in which people who are not so fortunate, they are denied the opportunity. This selling of the, you see the kind of behavior of the employees over there. They are not willing to work. Just imagine about the private colleges. If government school teacher, if the teacher like us will not take their job seriously, there will be a parallel structure of the private institutions. And if good faculty will start joining those private institutions, we will become redundant. So this is not only about the LICs and all these government are trying to sell. They are trying to say that we don't have the capabilities to make them competitive, efficient. So they are trying to reduce their liability. And these are the sure-shot failure of the government. They were not able to manage their institutions. So in the future, definitely, there would be more of the private players, and they will definitely, if this privatization definitely will be beneficial to the consumers. But again, I'm telling you, this health sector and education should be the job of the government. Private sector should not be allowed at all, because that is our responsibility. What for we are charging these taxes? Any other question?
Thank you, sir. I think there
Sir, I
are
have
no
a
more
quick
questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have a
I just want to say one line only in the last. I'm so thankful to Dr. Chaco. I had literally wanted to interact with you all, and I begged him to come and talk to you. So I'm so glad that you listened it, and I hope I have given something to you to think over and try to do things in a different manner. Try to have some thought on these lines. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Formal vote of thanks is following, but thanks from my part for being a part of this. And I'm sure the students are really inspired, and this lecture of yours will certainly help them in having a better understanding of the concepts that you explained. So thank you so much.
Dr. Chaco, I just want to congratulate you as well for your responsibility, a new responsibility. God bless you, and you will achieve greater heights. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Nigel Jacobi, Assistant Professor on Contract at Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Alina. So am I audible? I think I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Dr. Shirley Jose K, Head of the Department of Economics, an IQAC Coordinator, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. Dr. Chaco Jose P, former Head of the Department, Economics, and the Seminar Convener, Principal, St. Aloysius College, Elturit. And Dr. D. Ratnaraj, Senior Fellow, ICSSR, Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, Trivandrum, and former Professor and Head, Department of Economics, University of Calicut, Kerala. And Dr. J. Kishan Prasad, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Zakir Hussain College, New Delhi, and my dear participants. So I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. J. Kishan Prasad, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Zakir Hussain College, New Delhi. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And this is the second time that you are joining with us. And he had wonderfully delivered his ideas on imperfections in market analysis of major market structures. I think it was just like listening to a perfect online class, and you have cleared all the doubts and the queries the participants have raised. And on behalf of the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, I express my sincere gratitude to you, sir. Thank you. I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Shirley Joske, Head of the Department of Economics, and IQAC Coordinator, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, who welcomed the gathering. Thank you, ma'am, for all the support you provided, even during the busiest time of your official and unofficial works. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I also express my sincere thanks to Dr. Chakko Jospi, the convener of this event and the former head of the Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi, and current principal, St. Aloysius College, Elturit, who is a master brain of this national seminar. I don't have words to thank you, sir. And we were a team, and we could organize a lot of events together. And this is the final event he hosted as the convener of Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. I hope we can conduct a lot of joint venues in the future under the banner of Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi and St. Aloysius College, Eltuit. Thank you, sir, for all this. Thank you, sir, for all these sparks you ignited. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I also express my sincere gratitude to the moderator of this event, Ms. Alina Rafil and Rose Joju. And you have done your job wonderfully, role wonderfully. And thank you, Alina and Rose Joju.
Thank you, sir.
Last but not least, I express my sincere gratitude to all the participants gathered here and for watching the YouTube live streaming from different states of India. Thank you all for your presence throughout the seminar and conferences that we organize. And also, I request all of you to fill the feedback form that is provided in the chat box and fetch an e-certificate within 2 or 3 days. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chakko, and all other organizers. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Arivam Sam.
Thank you, sir.
Watne manaku print raaledu. I print oste చూడరా కొద్దిగా. ఒక ప్రింట్ కావాలి మనకు.